Hey Miguel, so how are you feeling physically at this point, especially after sort of that play pop up in this eighth inning, sort of the type of thing that's kind of aggravated that addict during the past?
No, yesterday I was feeling as good as I can ask for my body to feel. Before the game, we did a bunch of treatment. All the days that we had off kind of helps to be the best way that I can be, and it's gonna be a battle to stay that way throughout the whole postseason because our goal is to play 3 more weeks and go all the way. But I feel pretty confident that I can hold it up and be good for the rest of the time.
Especially considering how last year the NLDS went, sort of going down early again. How big was it just to sort of have that sort of fight back and be able to rally back last night and sort of reshift the tone a little bit?
Yeah, kind of going down 3-0 in the first inning is never kind of the plan, especially knowing that we got Yoshi on the mound and we want him to kind of like have a clean inning. So we get the opportunity to score first. It's always nice, but this team continue to show the fight and resiliency of not being out of games. And our mentality as an offense is we're gonna score runs anyways. Regardless if it's the first inning, the second, or it's going to be the 7 or the 8. We're going to continue to fight every single inning to score runs, and then our mentality is to score as many runs as possible each game, regardless of the score at that time. And I think it's been a good adjustment that we make ever since the series. That it was a really important series against Arizona. That we took 3 out of 4. I think that was when we started having that mentality as an offense, regardless of what the scores say. We're going to continue to push and continue to fight.
Bill in the back row.
Yeah, Miggy, how important is it for the bottom of the lineup to be productive, to turn the lineup over?
Yeah, especially knowing that we have our guys in the top of the lineup. Our mentality is got to be grinding pitches out, having good at-bats, regardless of the results of what's going to it's what's going to be during the whole game. There's going to be 12 at-bats for us there, 7, 8, and 9, And if we have good at-bats and we get a lot of pitches from the starting pitcher, like yesterday, Cease was in trouble just because he threw a lot of pitches, a lot of 3-2 counts, deep in counts, and then Shohei can get a good pitch to hit up in the zone, I think it's a quality at bat that you guys gotta see from the bottom of the lineup, so the top of the lineup get better pitches to hit and actually do damage because that's what they're here for.
Personally, your season was one of your better offensive seasons. What was behind that? Was there an adjustment, physical or mental, to get you going?
Yeah, both things. I think physically I work a lot to put my swing in a good position. I feel like this is the season that I've been the most consistent out of my 11 years in the big leagues, and I gotta give credit to the hitting coaches staying on top of me and finding things that helps me, and the mental side of it, knowing that I was gonna play a part role at the beginning of the year. I was like taking every at bat like it was my postseason, and then that leading to when I got the opportunity to play every day, and I know I was going to receive more at-bats and more opportunities. I feel like my swing was always in a good place, and my mind was ready to actually take on the challenge. And my mentality was I never want the team to feel like Mookie was absent. So I was happy that I have that year that I had.
At one point, Dave said he thought maybe the last couple years that you got caught up chasing slug. Do you think that was the case?
Yeah, maybe because I had success with a couple homers and maybe 30 doubles in one season or whatnot, and I feel like I could have become that player, a little bit more of complete package on the slug side and on the hitting side. I always wanted to strive for better results, year by year I wanted to be a better complete shortstop, and I feel like when I finally realized what kind of player I was overall and what can I bring to a table to a winning team, I stopped chasing for big numbers, and I started focusing more on what I need to do to help the team win in a daily basis. And I know it sounds what everybody says, that everybody wants to do whatever is best for the team. But I find out that my defense and my productions on offense, just getting the good at bats, is going to help a team win.
Kirsten, stand on the right side.
Miggy, just quickly going back to the conversation about the bottom of the order, you talked about just the quality of at-bats, but was there a conversation amongst you guys? It seems like with Weather talking to Gavin Lux and some others, just kind of this mindset, a hyena approach of sorts. Can you just kind of take us behind the door of where that came from?
Yeah, that series in Arizona, like I was mentioning, it happened like a month ago. We decided to be a little bit more aggressive. We as a team, as an offensive team, we thought every time we were behind in the games, we kind of stopped and kind of shut it down and started getting at bats and taking pitches and now being aggressive. And I think that put us kind of on our heels. And we decided not to be on our heels anymore. We want to be on the aggression every single time, and knowing that we can always trust our eyes on pitches outside of the zone. Because I think our team control the zone really well, but sometimes we trying to control the zone way too much that we're not aggressive. So I feel like a day like yesterday kind of tell the whole story behind the aggression and kind of being on the attack every time, because we're 3-0, but we're never like out of the game because we're still aggressive. We're not taking pitches, we're not giving them free strikes, and we're ready to go. And they know if they throw the ball in the strike zone, it's gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a swing. So with that being said, I feel like that's the mentality of the bottom of the order too. You know, like we're not gonna be afraid of swinging the bat, but at the same time we know our abilities to kind of control the strike zone, and that's kind of like the story behind it.
Fabian.
Just to sort of follow up on that, is that something that, as you guys have kind of looked back at previous postseasons and stuff like that, like maybe some of the woes of the offense, you guys maybe were feeling a little bit too tentative at the plate, and how much do you think maybe being more aggressive overall as a team can maybe help generate more opportunities in this kind of environment?
Well, we all know in the postseason it's not easy to score runs, you know, and to be able to score runs, you have to create momentum. So momentum can be created by many different things, you know, a walk, a long at bat where you kind of like make this pitcher don't have any holes in the lineup, you know, and we're talking about, again, the bottom of the lineup, middle of the lineup, top of the lineup. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to do your job to make this pitcher kind of work on every guy, you know, like you can be an easy out on this lineup or you're going to be out. So for me, that's the mentality that we have. Everybody kind of like pushing in the same direction and kind of pulling for the same purpose, which is being a really good and strong offense, so we can be aggressive and continue to do whatever we need to do, even if we're behind in the score.
Eric in the middle.
Miguel, what have you seen playing behind Jack Flaherty the last like 2+ months?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch because he knows how to change the speeds, and that's what kind of motivates me a lot more throughout this postseason for him. I think it's gonna be a good challenge for the other team to kind of like stay with the change of speeds. I think the guy can actually run his fastball up to 95, but he changed the speed on the breaking balls, and I think that style of pitching is kind of like it's not there anymore, you know. And that's a guy is a old school guy kind of pitching, and I really enjoy watching him pitch. And I remember when I faced him taking a pick of that, but I feel like he's kind of that old school pitcher that in these kind of games are gonna help a lot, and it's been fun to watch ever since he got here.
Did you face him when he was with the Cardinals, and if so, does he kind of look more like that old version of himself?
Yes, that's exactly what I think about Jack. He fastball is explosive, you know, like he can run it up to 98 or whatever. But right now, I can see like 3 different shapes of the breaking ball. I can see 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs. He understanding the game, and I'm pretty sure he matured with the time, with the experience, and like playing behind him is always. For me, as a shortstop and as a defensive first guy, I always like to play behind guys who they know what they're doing. They throwing the ball where they're supposed to be throwing, and it's a little bit easier for us as a defense to know where the ball is going to be hit.
As of late, when you think about just this not new intensity, but this intensity that we've been seeing from players, how do you see that Jack adds to that, just kind of with the fire and edge that he has on the mound?
He certainly is additive with that, and the great thing about Jack is that is not it's organic. It's not contrived, and so there's an intensity to him, great preparation, and our guys are going to feed off that. So last night, I think you saw that with our guys, and I think that we're going to kind of follow Jack, today as well.
How much are you looking forward to just seeing him in this postseason, this moment, and being now with this organization, considering he grew up being a fan of it?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're all excited. I can't imagine, I guess I can, your childhood team you rooted for and then playing for them in a postseason, and to kind of see it come full circle. And I talked to him and his mom about, being in the upper deck, watching games when he was a baby. And so now to see him pitching in a postseason game, it's very cool, right? It's very special. And I just know that Jack has a way of compartmentalizing. And then once we get all that kind of talked about, then it's business.
Fabian.
Miguel was just kind of in here talking about how more aggressive you guys have been over this last month. Is that something you guys have kind of looked at in postseasons past, where maybe when the offense hasn't quite been there, that maybe you guys have been too passive at times?
Yeah. I think that I think the one thing that we do a good job as an offense is control the strike zone, run at bats, go deep in counts. But I think that at times we get a little too passive, and you've got to be ready to strike if the ball is in the hitting zone. And I think we've seen it in past postseasons where, to be quite honest, we've been bullied with the fastball. And so I think that for us to be ready to hit off the fastball. But today's going to be a different thing. Yu's going to spin us. He's going to be selective when he uses fastball. We just got to be kind of still focused in our hitting zone.
Is that like more aggressive approach sort of come in line with maybe the bottom of the order being a little bit more productive the second half of the season?
I think that the aggressiveness is sort of tied into the entire lineup. The aggressiveness, I don't know how it manifests to the bottom, because I do think that the bottom, when they're running counts, but still being aggressive, ready to hit. But I do think that there's good outs, there's bad outs, understanding your role in the lineup. And, 7, 8, 9 is, to be quite honest, is kind of to set the table for the top. And so have productive at-bats, and those guys understand their roles.
We'll stay in the second row. Russell.
Dave, with Shohei, he wasn't a guy for a big part of his career that emoted a lot. You didn't really see a lot of emotion you have this year. Do you think that's the comfort of knowing, hey, I'm the best player in the world now, comfortable in the big leagues, or being around winning a lot more than he was maybe in years past?
I think that winning certainly helps. I think he does realize he's the best player on the planet. I do think that, he's become, over the course of this season, I think, who he intrinsically is. He's very isolated, very quiet, stays to himself, private. But I do think that naturally he is a goofy person. He's fun-loving. He's a crazy good competitor. And so I think that when he sees people having fun, enjoying themselves in moments, I think that we've seen more of that over the course of this season. And I think that that's a good thing for him, because it's honest. And I think that's a good thing for our players to see that, man, this guy is not just a robot. He's like a real person who has emotions. So I think this is good for everybody.
Alden, front row.
Dave, you talked going into this series about how you wanted your team to play with a particular sort of edge. How much is sort of Freddie kind of seemingly willing himself into the lineup, helping to kind of set a tone there?
It's big. It's huge. I think that, you can't. I think it's like the sacrificing, right? He's sacrificing health to find a way to be on the field. And then when you sacrifice anything, it makes what you're sacrificing for more important. And I think that our players see the sacrifice he's making. We've had things that leading up to this postseason that guys have sacrificed, family, friends, time to be together and to focus on winning 11 games. And I think that in itself is making our guys appreciate this opportunity and again that edge, and because we've given up a lot, and I think even in this moment in time. But yeah, to your Freddie point, I think that this guy is sacrificing his body for his teammates.
We'll stay in the front row on the left.
Going off that, you mentioned being bullied in the past postseasons. I guess, did the way you guys won last night, overcoming the early deficit, did that show you something different about what this team can accomplish in high-pressure postseason situations?
Absolutely. With the postseason, you can't always be a front runner. You can't always kind of play downhill. There's going to be times where it gets hot, you're playing from behind, there's some adversity, and you can't just fold. I mean, we had 27 outs left after the first inning, the top of the first. And so to our guys' credit, we created an opportunity in the first and didn't come through, but, persevered and found a way to break through with the big Shohei hit. So that's kind of a sign of our club. But for those guys to kind of do it, then it becomes more tangible and feel like you can kind of do that more often. And that was a good thing for us, certainly in game one, and not just sort of fold the tents.
Mike standing up on the right
Hey,
side.
Dave, was the decision to play Freddie today a little more clear-cut, a little easier today than it was yesterday?
It was much easier today. I think that he is in the same spot, but I do feel that there's a little more comfort in Freddie, and knowing kind of where the floor is at for him. Whereas yesterday, you're just trying to figure out what this means and how it feels. But I think that, feeling how he feels today, he feels that he can get through today and manage it. So we certainly feel much more confident today, yeah.
We'll do third row.
Hey, Doc, two-parter. Is everybody available out of the bullpen today? And the other part is, how much of a concern is usage as this series goes along?
I'm not concerned about usage. I'm concerned about winning tonight. We'll deal with whatever pieces we have to going forward. And with that said, everyone's available today. Even Blake Trinan said he felt good, but he's going to go out there and play catch. But again, we're going to win. We're going to do everything we can to win today.
Got Jack standing up in the back.
Yeah, I know you touched on this last night, but how much more did you guys dig into the Yamamoto tipping piece, and how confident are you that's something you can get cleaned up before he pitches?
I feel good about it. We're talking about it, and so we have till game we have some time. So we're digging in on it. Yep. Thanks for asking.
And then with the bottom of the lineup, how much do you think knowing that Shohei's behind them and they can kind of set the table for him just helps the production down there and just the focus level that they have and being able to be, as consistent as they've been during the second half of the season?
It's big. I think that with anything, when you understand your role and you buy into your role, then there's clarity and you feel better about it, more conviction. And so I think that, not to take away anything from our guys, at the bottom, but the truth of the matter is it's to go out there and take team at bats. And when you have the best player, on the planet, looming, it certainly understands that it's all worth it, right? The buy-in's there. And I'll tell you this, even there was an at-bat last night, Miggy popped up with first base or first and second base instead of, and it was a pop-up, but it was a kind of, it was before Shohei homered. And it was non-discrete at-bat in the scorecard, but instead of rolling over and trying to pull the baseball, he tried to ride that slider out and popped it up. But what it did is it gave Shohei an opportunity to hit. And so if he would have tried to chase slug or do a little bit more damage, that ball would have been a ground ball double play. So that right there is stuff that's not lost on me.
We'll go to Kirsten here in the front, and then we'll finish up with Barry.
Dave, just quickly, when you look at just kind of Mookie Betts' at-bats yesterday, what did you see from him? And I know we've talked just kind of with him about how last year looked and kind of the mindset he was going into this postseason with. Just kind of any takeaways you've seen so far from him in just one game?
I feel Mookie's in a really good spot. I don't think he's searching with mechanics. I think I love the at-bats yesterday. I love the compete, even when he was down 0-2, to find a way to get back into the count to then ultimately earn a free pass. So yeah, I think he's in the strike zone. There's conviction behind his swing. So I love where Mookie's at right now.
And Barry.
So, we've talked about the struggles that Mookie and Freeman had the last two postseasons ad infinitum. So yesterday, with Shohei up on top of the lineup, they're on base 7 times. This all comes down to having him in the lineup. All the enthusiasm that you're talking about, the increase from the fans, it's all really attributed to having Ohtani on the team, which you didn't have the last 2 years. Do you feel that way?
Yes, yeah. He's a global talent. I mean, there's people that come all over the world to watch this man play, and we're the beneficiaries of it. And I think that the energy, anytime he comes up to bat, he's on deck. You get guys on base. I know that the pitcher on that mound feels it. So it's certainly a good thing for all of us. But it's up to us all to kind of do our parts in our respective roles. But Shohei is definitely a big part of the excitement, the anticipation, and obviously the talent on our ball club.
Well, you paid $700 million, so I mean, it didn't just come along for nothing. But going to Mookie, interesting how Schilt walked him twice to pitch to Freeman, which is something that you don't often see. And you kind of wonder when you start walking Ohtani to pitch to those guys and let them beat you.
Yeah, I mean that's it might happen, it might not. I mean, obviously the game situation calls for it, and whatever Mike feels that the time to not take his chance with Shohei and take his chance with Mookie and Freddie, we'll see. But I still trust those guys behind Shohei as well.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll see you post game.
Yeah.
Any seat?
Middle's good.
Cool. Let's do it.
$1 million.
All right, we'll get started with Tommy Edman. First question for Tommy. We could start with Mike here on the right side.
I got him. Oops.
Hey, Tommy.
How's it going?
What is your threshold for turning around from the right side and hitting right-handed against a right-hander like you did last night?
It's kind of just the matchups based on a guy's pitch profile, see which pitches are easier to get to from the right side versus the left side. And usually that's reflected in the splits, and I think that guy had pretty even splits, righty versus lefty. So that's kind of the two things that go into my decision.
Kirsten here in the front.
Just when you came over at the trade deadline, just how much have you been looking forward to kind of being a part of these moments with this group, and I guess coming off of now Game 1, just your reaction to how everything played out yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of great games in the regular season that kind of got me fired up for what the postseason was going to be like, and first game definitely didn't disappoint. Obviously, the huge homer by Shohei, and to swing the momentum back in our favor, and a great environment in the crowd, and just a lot of fun to play that first postseason game. Hopefully, we can have a lot more fun games like that.
Bill up here in the front.
Yeah, you played in St. Louis, where we've heard forever they're the best fans in baseball. How'd you compare them to Dodger fans?
Yeah, no, I mean, both fan bases are really great, come out to support, and I think just know the game very well. I think at Dodger Stadium, I would say it's a touch louder. I think just more fans, and kind of a different type of environment in the stadium, a little bit more upbeat. But I love both fan bases, and I've really enjoyed getting to know the Dodgers fan base a little bit just in my past couple of months, and it's been a great experience here so far. I mean, it was every time I've come here when I was with St. Louis. I always noticed how loud it was. So it wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it was definitely nice to be on this side of things.
A few more for Tommy. Go over in the middle, second row.
Tommy, the front office has talked a lot about how they coveted you when you were in St. Louis. What does that do for you to have a team that covets you that much, and how has the acclimation been for you?
Yeah, it gives me confidence for sure to know that my skill set's valued. And just seeing from the outside, I saw how many talented players were on the Dodgers. Everybody that the Dodgers acquire seems to be have a lot of success here. So when I got traded here, I was just excited to join the organization and kind of see like how else I could improve upon my game. And I feel like it's been a good fit here so far, and I've hopefully be able to contribute in a bunch of different ways, and I think that's kind of what makes me valuable to the team.
Go to the back row, straight back.
Hi, Tommy. I know you facing Shohei at the WBC, and now you are teammate with him. Is there anything new about Shohei?
I think just being on his team now. First of all, I'm glad to be on his team and don't have to play against him. And I think what's been impressive is just like him having the same mindset, every single day. Obviously, he's the best player in baseball right now, and I feel like when you're in that situation, you can kind of have the tendency to put pressure on yourself, but he really doesn't seem that way at all. He's very laid back, and always has a great attitude and just excited to play the game of baseball.
You have two up in the front.
Just curious, from a personal standpoint, growing up in San Diego, what's this series been like for you in terms of people you grew up with rooting maybe for the Padres, for you personally?
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of friends who are still Padres fans, so I'm really hoping we can beat them, and so I can talk trash to them this offseason.
Maria?
Yeah. You and I talked last night about coming here and guys welcoming you with open arms. Was it everything you thought it would be, or what was it like when you first walked into the locker room?
Yeah, it's a little different. I was with the Cardinals for 8 years, I think. So those were, the only people I knew, the only, coaches, coaching staff, and teammates that I knew. So it was a little bit different. So the first couple of days, I felt like I was kind of feeling it out a little bit. But, I feel like I got to know everybody really quickly. Definitely feel like I've been here for longer than, just a couple of months. And, I feel like the transition's been pretty seamless so far. Really enjoyed being in this organization.
Kirsten?
Tommy, just speaking about the Cardinals, you obviously played with Jack over there as well. Just knowing him personally, what do you know about him just that allows him to kind of have that edge on the mound and that will allow him to have success in a game like tonight?
Yeah, just a competitor, as long as I've played with him, he's always, had one of the best intensity on the mound that I've seen. He comes out to compete, especially in those big games. He kind of lives for those moments. So I know I got a ton of confidence in him. He's going to have a great game tonight, and just excited to see what he can do out there.
And last one's for Tommy. All right, Tommy, thanks for coming in.
Cool. Thank you.